Now back to our reading from the Paper Ark. Here we go. The Paper Ark, about an extraordinary illustrated journey to the wildlife world of the Holy Land by Bill Clark. Anyway, let's continue on. The water buffalo's claim to the title Behemoths is enhanced by a curious matter of Jewish law. Wild animals, chaya, and domestic animals, behema, are separated into two groups by the Jewish Talmudic code. Over the centuries, a confusion developed concerning a few species that at one time might have domesticated, but subsequently reverted back to the wild. The main argument centered on the wild ox, an animal that scholars suspected was once domesticated. And this argument can also be extended to the water buffalo. Okay, so we have the wild ox, an animal that scholars suspected was once domesticated, and this argument can also be extended to the water buffalo. The name Behemoth, so we see here there's wild animals are behema, and wild animals are chaya, domestic animals are behema. Okay, they're separated into two groups. The name Behemoth is closely related to the Talmudic behema, and this may suggest that the behemoth had once been a domestic animal, or at least is closely related to domestic animals. At least it's closely related to domestic animals, even though Job's behemoth is obviously wild. Water buffaloes have been domesticated in many parts of the world. Hippopotamuses have not. So water buffaloes have been domesticated in many parts of the world. Hippopotamuses have not. Now, when Job makes his initial description of the behemoth, saying, "He eateth grass as an ox," there may be a meaning that is much deeper than simply claiming the animal is herbivorous. One of the texts as to whether an animal is accepted as kosher in Jewish dietary law rests in its ability to ruminate or chew the cud. The water buffalo, just as the ox, has this ability. So the water buffalo and the ox can ruminate and be kosher, ability to ruminate or chew the cud. The water buffalo, just as the ox, has this ability. There are several other characteristics of the water buffalo that suggest this animal is the real behemoth. It fits most of Job's description, being a large and powerful animal with obvious muscle fiber in its sinuous physique. It has strong bones, has been found on mountainsides and swamps, lingers in the shade, and has a healthy drinking ability. But many of these observations can also be made of the elephant. It is the largest of land animal and certainly fits the general image of a behemoth. Its colossal size, herbivorous diet, stout bones, and inclination to tarry in the shade surely fit many of the requirements, and its sweeping tail certainly bears an extraordinary resemblance to a cedar tree swaying in the breeze. But the elephant's trunk is its best claim for being the behemoth. Dropping his long and flexible proboscis into a water course, the elephant can draw up a tremendous quantity of fluid. And because of the elephant's unique anatomy, with the trunk apparently flowing from the forehead, it may truly seem that he draws water with his eyes. Finally, Job's last verse also seems to point toward the elephant. His nose pierceth through snares. His nose pierceth through snares. It is quite possible that the ancient Hebrews may have been familiar with all three of the likely possibilities for behemoths. The hippopotamus lived in Israel during the Pleistocene era, long before man was keeping record. But the Hebrew tribes might also have seen the species during their Egyptian captivity, since the hippopotamus lived along the Egyptian part of the Nile until the 19th century. So the hippopotamus lived along the Egyptian part of the Nile until the 19th century. The elephant also is no stranger to the land of Israel. During the days of the patriarchs, the Egyptian pharaoh Thutmose III conquered the Middle East, and records note he was fond of hunting the great Sacaderm in the lush valley of the Orontes River, which rises in the mountains of Lebanon. Elephant ivory was highly prized during the periods of the kingdom of Israel, and the book of Maccabees records how the Seleucid Antiochus Epiphanes used elephant cavalry in his campaigns against the Jews. The book of Maccabees records how the Seleucid Antiochus Epiphanes used elephant cavalry in his campaigns against the Jews. But this writer believes the water buffalo is the behemoth of the book of Job. The water buffalo inhabited Israel throughout biblical times, living in the northern swamps around Hula in the Galilee. The growth of the human community in this area during recent centuries has chased the water buffalo out. But quite by accident, Israeli troops encountered a small herd of them running wild during the 1967 campaign to take the Golan Heights. These water buffalo were brought back to the Hula, where they have bred prolifically within the protection of a nature reserve. Here at the headwaters of the Jordan may well be the descendants of that animal which amazed Job and made him call it the chief of the ways of God. The hippopotamus, the elephant, and the water buffalo each has a good claim to the title behemoth. And no one knows who may take an equally credible case for the rhinoceros, or some species of antelope, or even some extinct animal whose bones still lie deep in the earth of ancient Israel. The hippopotamus, the elephant, and the water buffalo each has a good claim to the title behemoth. And no one knows who may make an equally credible case for the rhinoceros, or some species of antelope, or even some extinct animal whose bones still lie deep in the earth of ancient Israel. So this here is the article on behemoths. Behold, now Behemoths, Job 40:15. So this would be the hippopotamus. And this is from the Paper Ark, an extraordinary illustrated journey to the wildlife world of the Holy Land, by Bill Clark, illustrated by Eric Mache. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All the best. Thank you for watching. Take care.